boy. He's a good boy, that kid.
That's exciting. That's exciting. I like that we're going to have a new team member soon.
Secret team member.
Secret team member. We just had, for everybody watching, we just had a team meeting with a new hostile athlete. You guys are free to welcome to guess in the comment section. Should we give him a prize?
James.
It's not James. I've tried. I tried to turn up so many times.
We go beyond. We transcend.
James, I am gonna fucking get you to join Team Hostile before you retire, even if it's for one day.
The problem is,
who did that? Who did that?
Oh fuck yeah!
What'd you say, James?
I'll say by the time you sign me, I'll be in a pair of these. You'll be like,
that's okay. I'll sign you as the inline skate guy for Hostile.
I'll start riding BMX again. We'll collab.
Yeah, we'll just Ben will be cycling and I'll be running. Won't even be a bodybuilding brand anymore.
Speaking of cycling,
before we start, I was looking at a skate podcast earlier that I listened to, and on their Instagram page, they are actually now doing supplements for skaters because of their joints and stuff. So it might be it's
not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I don't think
turmeric, fish oils.
I always think if I knew anything about nutrition when I was riding BMX, I could have done a lot better.
Yeah.
I don't know though.
Maybe sometimes some Winstrel.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
to be honest though, isn't part of the allure of the X Games kind of people that it's completely reckless and free?
Oh yeah, for sure. But I think that I didn't have to have diarrhea all the time because I was eating Taco Bell, Like I think I could have been a little bit better from like a digestive standpoint.
Did you eat a lot of Taco Bell?
No, not really. I mean, I ate decent food, but I didn't understand anything about like, hey, I'm gonna be riding all day. Let's maybe get some good carbohydrates in me and hydration.
Man. Yeah. You used to just have a can of Coke and go, and that was it.
Yeah, exactly.
Who is the power lifter that was like? There was a power lifter that used to be signed with Iron Rebel. I think it was Darren something or Daryl. I can't remember. The guy used to
drink a beer.
Yeah,
beer in between squatting.
The guy would squat in his garage. He was like, he had like I think he was like one of the record holders or something like that. He would squat.
Yeah, he's an animal.
Yeah, he would squat in his garage barefoot. He didn't know anything about nutrition, and he would literally like drink a beer and then go squat.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know.
Good life.
Sometimes you wonder, like,
ignorance is bliss.
Maybe there's something to that flippant nature that allows you to be a little better.
That's what I mean about the X Games shit. Maybe the fact that you didn't care made you better.
Yeah, for sure. I can see that.
James, you're skating again. Are we supposed to be worried?
I'm not skating again. I've just taken for a test drive. I'll have you know.
Test drive.
Yeah, literally test drive the other day. That was the only bit of skating I did just to see how fast they felt, and they were fast.
Is that what you're feeling for when you're feeling out a skate? Is that like how fast the wheels go, or what do you feel?
No, not normally. I was very surprised because basically, very simply put, the bearings in these are a lot faster than the ones I used to skate on. So I was blown away. I was like, shit, fucking hell, this is fast.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's because you're heavier, so you're going faster.
There's a bit of both. Once you got this, the velocity, the weight behind the speed.
Yeah.
Whoosh, yeah.
You coast.
But I tell you, even that 30 seconds of skating there, it was like a breath of fucking fresh air, man.
Really?
Yeah.
It didn't hurt your ankles at all?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Huh. Justin, I noticed you're a little racist towards Mexicans.
What? What are you talking?
Just straight in there, just straight boom.
I just thought of it.
There was no transition.
Because I just went back to what he said. I'm like, what's with the Taco Bell? Like you don't eat taco. You just decided to like.
I didn't even. Yeah, Taco Bell and diarrhea.
That's the reference.
Runs synonymously with Mexicans.
Fucking Mexicans.
I do one fucking Mexican accent on here,
and that's it.
I've never had Taco Bell.
You've never had Taco Bell?
No, they haven't. They never used to have them here, but now they have them here, and I still haven't tried it.
I have a
feeling. They got them in England.
Yeah.
I have a feeling James wouldn't like it.
What? Me not like food? You fucking mad?
I think
but Taco Bell's a little mushy and like I don't know. I don't see you being a Taco Bell liker. Okay. I love tacos.
I'm not a taco guy. Period. I don't like tacos. So
what about tacos? What about burritos though?
That's not a taco.
No, but when you go to Taco Bell, like
you just literally changed the whole food.
No, but Taco Bell. Like,
but what about burgers?
No, but no. When you go to Taco Bell, I order all the burritos because that's.
I've never look to me. I've never walked into a Taco Bell, so I don't know what's on the menu other than tacos. I assume they fucking sell tacos. So
I've had browsed the menu on Deliveroo.
They sell more burritos than tacos, so it should be Burrito Bell.
Really? Well, that tells you that no one fucking likes tacos. Then, not really. They go for burritos.
Oh, I like tacos.
Justin, do you like burritos more or tacos more?
Probably burritos. Well, yeah. I don't know. Like a proper like Mexican street taco is very good.
Everybody loves.
It should be called Burrito Bell.
Yeah,
we should change it to Burrito Bell.
That does not have a ring to it at all.
Well, only because you're so used to hearing Taco Bell. If you heard Burrito Bell, they could call it,
and then we call it BB.
Double B.
Yeah.
I only think of Taco Bell because of Demolition Man.
Yes. Yeah. Great fucking movie.
Survived the food chain wars. Don't you remember in the film? They said there was a food chain wars. No. Yeah, so in the film they're saying there was a food chain war between all like pizza and everyone. The only one that survived was Taco Bell. Every restaurant's a Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Interesting fact.
McDonald's would win, let's be honest.
Oh,
McDonald's
would win.
McDonald's would win.
Yeah.
If they had a fight,
I didn't get McDonald's the other day.
I know you didn't. You got all this food and you got fucking sushi and everything. And you didn't get McDonald's. And you said you were going to eat my order.
I know.
That's really funny that you say that, Fouad. I was actually trying to think of like some YouTube content. And I was thinking about maybe doing the Hoss order from McDonald's.
Do it.
Like I'll call you in the drive-thru and you can tell me what to order.
I'll order it for you.
Yep. Yeah. And then I'll film myself pigging out and see if I can eat it all.
It's not that much. It really isn't.
No, it was a good menu. It was a selection.
It was a nice spread. But the only thing we don't have the poutine.
It's a good spread, but not for like a challenge. You know, it's like it's a lot of food, but it's not like a challenge.
Yeah, I'm not really a big eater. I mean, for you, it's not a challenge. For me, it might be.
For me, it's comfortable. It's like a comfortable amount.
Yeah, exactly.
What did James? I didn't see what you had, James. Talk us through it.
No, I wrecked. Do you know what it is? I wrecked myself with my Nando's. I had a massive Nando's.
I saw that.
And then I had to let that digest. And by the time it was like digesting, I was like, I don't fancy eating more chips. So I went for like a nice sushi box, a really good one, 16 piece, but they were fucking humongous.
Yeah.
And a Ben and Jerry's. So that was because I just couldn't do any more chips. I was just like, I can't eat no more chips.
Ben and Jerry's is always a consistent.
Listen, so good.
Yeah,
for sure you had diarrhea the next day.
No,
for sure.
It doesn't even affect me.
But you eat raw fish and then ice cream afterwards.
Yannicka, did I have diarrhea? No diarrhea.
She said,
oh, she would know.
She checked.
She's in for every
bell. She would smell it. She would smell it.
For that, but Fouad assumes that everybody shits their pants whenever they eat something that's not.
I'm think about the combination: raw fish and fucking ice cream.
Not a great.
I'm not sensitive to my.
Didn't you have some Indian food that day as well?
No, he had Nando's.
No, that was the last one.
I watched that video, by the way. That's how you
eat good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You guys keep
Indians
going
always
on
the
about
best.
Indian food. I gotta have it.
Yeah, you're outnumbered 3-1. 3-1 here.
I didn't say
it's got the most flavor, man. It's got the most flavor.
Mm-hmm.
James, are you going to be? All I see is a nipple.
I'm going to be in shape.
It's a nice nipple.
But you know what happens when you pig out this much and make it public, right?
I don't give a fuck.
I'm just saying, you know the backlash, right? Like if you're not,
the videos like, oh, he's not going to be ready. Nick Padilli, like putting a video would be 30 days out, and I'm actually 6 weeks out. I was like, I had to go into the chat and just like go. I did title the video August the 14th. Like this was 6 weeks out.
I'm not talking about that video.
But that's why I'm. You know, I get that because people.
There was a certain video that recapped our discussions about you doing your refeed, and this person was mocking what you were doing, and me and Fouad in the background are going, yeah.
Listen, people can mock, but they'll see in a few weeks I ain't gonna look shit. If I don't win, that's my fault. But I'm not gonna look like
you know why there's no reason to mock. There are a fucking million ways to get shredded.
For sure.
Look, even on this podcast alone, there's already like Iain is like the no cheat at all, go all the way through, and he gets ready. I've done the pig out all fucking day once a week, and I've gotten ready. Like there are in betweens where like you just refeed on clean food, and those people get ready. So it's like,
I'll say this: I just had this conversation with Denise before I came on here. I don't know how it came up, but I was talking about I coach all of my clients individually. None of them are on the same. Like it's all dependent. I play with stuff. I'm like, that doesn't look right. Let's try doing this. Let's try doing that. Yeah. Or if it's working, I leave it alone. But some people are getting like crazy refeeds. Other people don't get a buckle. Some people get a little bit like clean refeeds. Some people get just giant. It doesn't fucking, I don't care.
Different for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. None of my guys have the same setup at all.
Yeah.
Guys, I was 275 this morning. I look skinny as fuck.
Let me see. You got a picture on your phone?
I can't even get there.
1 sec. It's still not. Wait, it's coming.
Look how skinny I look.
Yeah, you do. Time to refeed, buddy.
Thin as fuck.
Very skinny. The Crocs look good though.
275 and I look like a stick in the morning. So of course I've got to fucking eat.
But okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate for a minute. This is the issue. When people say, why don't you coach yourself? This is the one issue I worry about. Sometimes when you think, like, for example, James, you're like, I look skinny, and you start refeeding too often.
Oh, I've read for you. Yeah.
No, I'm not saying you're doing this. I'm just saying this is what I worry about. Like, personally, this is what I always worried about why I had a coach. When I'm 4 weeks out or less to the show, the way I see myself is not always rational or accurate compared to somebody else. So I could be oh, I feel stringy, I need a refeed. And then next thing you know, it's like a week out from the show and I'm not in shape. Or I could be, oh, I'm too full, I need to fucking eat less. And then next thing you know, I show up at the show fucking stringy.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It's usually the opposite for me, where I look at myself and I think I'm fat.
That's how I am.
And then I look at it fucking a few months after the show, I'm like, how the fuck did I think I was fat? Looking at these pictures.
Yeah.
So that's so what I'm doing, like, so for example, obviously this morning I was 275.
Yeah.
I still know there's a few more pounds I like to go down before I refeed.
Yeah.
So I'll get down to like 270 to 272. Yeah. And then
how do you plan on refilling for the show?
Don't know. You haven't really come up with a plan.
Wait a second. Before we go that far, I want to ask, so even though you feel like you look skinny today, you still have a targeted weight that you want to get to before you refeed.
Because there's still fat so you have to, I need to spend a certain amount of the time focusing on the fat loss.
Yes.
But I can't stay there for too long because that's the issue that I've had prior. Mm-hmm. So it's just how long do I stay in that? How long you have to go flat, but how long for?
Yeah.
So I've always, Ben, you correct me if I'm wrong here, but I've always felt like you burn more fat when you're flat.
Yes.
But if you're flat for too long, then it's hard to refill.
There's a balance, right? So it's like right in the middle, you have full and you have flat, and you have to be in this portion, really, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
And then if you go too far, then you're fucked. Like then you're chewing up muscle tissue. And I think James always, to me, it's a timing issue. So when James is in like an extended fat loss, like he gets ready pretty quick, but then once he gets there, then it's almost too late to try and pull it back and catch it up, right? That's my perception of James. So James always looks phenomenal, even like 4 or 5 years ago. 5-6 weeks out, everyone's like, oh, James, you're crazy. So for me, if people are saying, oh, he's a little behind, I'm looking at going good, fucking golden.
Because he can get it off. Like
I mean, James is behind compared to how he normally looks, right? Because to me, those last 3 weeks, I get nervous for James. Like, he's going to wither away. He's going to fucking just fall off the cliff. That's what I always see from him.
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm doing everything how I am, because based off previous, like you say, I get to a point where Flex messaged me years ago. Mm-hmm. He went, whatever you're doing now, stay on that trajectory. And then I remember a few weeks later, fucked it. And it happened a few times. Mm-hmm. And this is the first time where I'm actually purposely blocking myself for being in that state for too long.
Yeah.
Just to see. And, if it works, it works. If it don't, I'm having a fucking good time and I'm enjoying it and I'm learning. That's the way I look at it. So,
Can I just explain? I just want to explain to people watching in case they don't know kind of what you're doing when we talk about full and not full. And when we talk about full, I know this is a little bit in the weeds and you guys already know this shit. I'm kind of talking to people that don't really know bodybuilding. When we talk about full, we're talking about filling up the muscle, right? So the muscle is like a picture, like a balloon. You're filling it with glycogen store, maxing out the muscle. And then what you're doing when you cheat is you're filling that muscle. And then let's say you do that Saturday, right? What happens is the muscle looks like this Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and now you're like kind of flat. So you're basically burning more fat, I guess I would say, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Is that kind of how you see it?
I feel so. I feel
is that like an accurate way to think about it?
I like the analogy of a hybrid car where you use gasoline versus electric.
Yeah, okay, that's
and
good.
then once the gas is down past like 50%, your body will start going, hang on, let's hold on to a bit of this, and we'll start using the more inefficient energy fuel, which is the electricity, right?
Sure.
So it'll start burning through the battery a bit more. Well, once it's still going to degrade some of the gasoline, right? But then at some point, then you refill, charge that back up, and then you go again.
So that's where I was getting to. So if the muscle looks like this by Friday, the reason we don't keep just depleting is because if it gets here, now you're burning it into muscle mass. So James will basically bring it to here and then refill it, and then do it again every week. So you're just doing this, and every week you're chipping away a chunk of fat.
Yeah, just as long as I see new detail at the end of every spin, like I'll look like hamstrings, glutes, like it depends where it's coming off, because it comes off in its own order. But the last few weeks, back and lower body is where I'm noticing changes, and I'll keep an eye on that. And then if, by 5, 6, 7 days through, there are new details, like actually evident new details, and my weight is down, then I know I'm in a position to do that. If it's not, then I won't. I'll wait. Yeah.
And this isn't, and just for people watching, this also isn't something that has to be over the course of a week. A lot of people do this in the course of 3 days. They'll do like a high day, a medium day, and a low day, and then they'll refill the muscle. So sometimes you can do it over the course of 3 days. You can do it over the course of 4, 5, 6. It doesn't matter how or 2 weeks.
And the rate of which it happens changes weekly. Like, initially I had it was like an 8-day gap between me doing it.
Yeah.
And then I did that for a couple of weeks. And then last week I had something on the Friday. By Monday, I was back under baseline weight and tighter. Okay, I had to eat again.
But that's actually a good point I want to touch on, James. I saw that you did that. I noticed it was only like 2 or 3 days, and then you refed. So obviously your body has sped up into the prep. So what I want to ask is, instead of adding more cheat meals, wouldn't you increase the base and still keep the cheat meal for once a week?
One or the other, whatever you want to do. As long as you do one or the other, I think you're fine. Depends what you can adhere to.
I
think once your condition is close, right?
Yeah.
Then you bring up your baseline food to hold a little more, and you start playing with the look.
That's kind of how I feel it should be. Yeah.
Yeah, because I haven't the last.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ben. So, James, I didn't hear that.
Just because I would, once the fat is when my body fat's at a level that I feel acceptable for a show, then that's when I stabilize.
Yeah. Then you bring everything back up and find that balance.
Because then I'm not concerned about fat loss. Okay. So I don't want those dips.
This is a question, not a statement.
Yeah.
Instead of refeeding 2 days later, would it not help to burn more fat if you elevated the baseline just a little and moved the cheat meal out?
I wouldn't know. Honestly, I wouldn't know. That's why I don't know. That's why I just do it, that I've got this substantial difference between the high and the low.
Yeah.
Just so that I know that the days I'm on the low, I can really feel it happening.
Yeah.
I suppose it's just because here, those low days I can feel.
But that's what I'm asking. Is like more of those low days, obviously not too many, but wouldn't more of those low days sharpen you up a little faster?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. So you're still
careful again.
Yeah.
Again, it's because of Ben saying my previous showings and my experience with my body. One thing I'm so aware of is once it gets going, and I can't control it. So it's so fucking hard.
Go ahead, Ben. Sorry, we were interrupting.
Sorry, Ben.
No, I was going to say, do that with clients. Like, I'll give them a refeed. It might be 4 days apart. Then the next week it might be 3 days apart. The next week it might be 7 days. Sometimes it's situational based on what they're training. Maybe if the athlete is traveling or doing something maybe out of the ordinary, and it's okay, let's have a high day because I know your output is going to be a lot higher this weekend because you're working an extra. There's other factors that go into play as well. So what you're saying, hey, would it not be better just to bump up that baseline and then extend out the refeeds? Again, they might be going. You could give them another day, but they're about tomorrow might be like a heavy quad day. And so you're like, hang on, let's fucking let's not push another day. Let's eat now because tomorrow's a heavy leg day and we want that. So you have to look at the whole picture as well. And James obviously knows exactly what's going on in his schedule. So he can make those calls himself.
Yeah. I just wonder, and I don't think James is doing this obviously, but even if it's subconscious, I wonder if some athletes would be like, I want to get I shouldn't lie. I used to do this. Fuck you, Justin.
I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say.
I know what you're going to say as well.
I know Chad wanted to see especially with Chad, because Chad would give me a whole day off. So I know Chad wanted to see a certain number or a certain look by the Saturday morning before he said, take the day off. So I would bust my fucking ass like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, even maybe cut down on some of my meals, and then end up
Just
being
to get
like,
that number down.
yeah. So
I'm getting that refeed, goddamn it.
So he would look, so I would send him my pictures Friday night, and then Saturday morning be like, yeah, you're empty, fucking eat. So so I wonder, would an athlete, I mean, I've done it, so I wonder how many other athletes you think are like, oh, I know a refeed's coming, so I better grind harder, to a detriment.
Yeah, loads would.
100%.
And the only reason I don't is because even at this base level of output I'm doing now, it's still actually happening. So like Yannicka could tell you, I'm never like, oh, I hope I get something at the end of the week or in a few days. I'm literally just happy to go into these low days. And then when it comes, it'll come.
Okay.
I've actually had to scale back my output for training, and I'm still losing that weight. The amount of sets I'm doing in a workout now, I've actually had to scale back for a second time just to sustain a certain level of control over this, situation.
I know we've talked about cardio a lot. How much I know you do cardio, or we haven't talked about cardio a lot, but I know you walk in the morning. But how much cardio are you doing?
I just walk in the morning now, just like for like 20 minutes around the block. That's it.
So you're pulling like a Dorian Yates, like just take.
Yeah, because I was doing 40 minutes on the bike at the beginning of my prep, and that got shit going. And then 2 weeks ago, I changed it for a walk of only about 5 songs on my playlist, 6 songs on my playlist, and my weight was still coming down, and my legs are a bit fresher.
Yeah, I think one of the notes we have to make sure people understand is James is carrying 260.
It's the amount of muscle
pounds.
you carry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So James is carrying 260 pounds of muscle, so, or maybe more. So any slight, yeah, well, I mean, I'm just saying. Right? Basically what I'm saying is James is fucking jacked.
Yeah.
So he's going to burn fat a lot faster. So somebody who's 200 pounds can't listen to this and be like, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. You have to watch your body and what it's doing.
This is, and honestly, as a on a personal note, this is why I have so much more fun when I'm coaching open class bodybuilders.
Oh yeah, the changes are
I have so many more tools to play with, and I just enjoy it so much more coaching.
Well, because coaching somebody like James, the minute you make a change, you're going to see it within a day or two. Somebody
honestly, and when you're not doing a lot of, when you're not doing a lot, you see the changes do more because every change is more substantial.
Yeah.
Like even down to the supplements, like I kid you not, like I said to you on the circles, 10 mgs of Trenbolone a day.
Really?
I put that in. Yeah, I put that in, and fuck me, I changed. Like everything's just going boom, boom, boom.
10.
Wow.
10.
No one's going to believe
People
that.
People be like, what the fuck are you doing? And it's like,
there's about to be a video. There's going to be a video.
Yeah, but that's cool. That's cool because I know exactly what I'm doing. And shit like that, man. Like,
can I tell you, James, on that note? And I know I said this on the last podcast for anybody who watches all of them, I apologize, but Kamal, Nick knows the exact amounts. I don't, but one of Kamal's claim to being 51 and being so healthy is the minor amount of gear he's taken throughout.
And I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. It's very, very impressive. But yeah, I don't know. Is this something you're going to do? Like, is everything else lower too, or is this just the one ingredient?
Yeah. Like honestly, like, I'll talk to, like I'll probably be a bit more open on the circles because I feel like I can, because then it doesn't get contorted and thingy. But
I agree.
Honestly, this is like a very mellow approach to a show, and every factor's just being pushed to its limit before introducing anything else. Like there's no orals, there's no like say cardio is very limited.
No orals, no Anavar, no Winstrol, no fucking nothing.
James has done this. He's got the rule book and he's just fucking burnt it.
Can I tell you? But honestly, can I tell you how awesome that is?
Amazing.
Because the more people I hear doing this, there's only one thing that people are going to say that I also wonder, because Antoine came on the podcast like a few weeks ago, and he was talking about how because of his health scare, he did the least amount of gear he's ever done, and he probably looked the best he's ever looked in Chicago. Yeah. The only thing I wonder, and I'm sure other people are going to wonder too, is do you have to do the extremes to get to that size, or could you take that approach all the way through?
I think we had to have done what we've done.
Yeah.
Like it'd be very irresponsible of me to not lie, but to false information and say that the big cycles and the bread and butter that has been done to this point hasn't allowed me to get to this point, and I wouldn't want anyone to think otherwise. But I do think that once you obtain, a certain muscularity and your nutrition's on point and you treat bodybuilding with the respect it deserves, you can definitely then minimalize and get more out of because of being conscious and smart.
See, that's really smart. And I'm glad there's one of the benefits of the podcast that people are to hear that, because one of the things I didn't do was change as I got bigger. And I think that was more of a detriment to my health. Like if around 31, 32, when I basically had most of my size, like I was already 245, 250 at that time. If at that time somebody had pulled me aside and said, look, we can do this and still get better, but with half the amount you're using.
Yeah.
I probably would be, my organs would, like my blood work would probably look a lot better now had I done that.
So
and can I just add something?
What?
Sorry, Ben, you go first, man.
Go ahead, Ben.
I was going to say, just to give another anecdote on that, Luke, and I knew his exact numbers for the last 6-7 years. The final year, 2019, where he did third at the Arnold and did the Tampa second at Olympia, was the lowest cycles period, total dosages of everything he's ever run.
Yep.
Do you think that applies to training as well? Because I know one of the things Kamal talked about in his longevity was he doesn't really go to failure. He does everything really high volume. And I'm not saying that training style. I'm just saying going to failure period.
I won't lie.
Kamal doesn't see that going to all out destructive failure as a benefit. He sees it more as a fault to longevity.
Him, especially right now. Do you mean right now, or do you mean 20 years?
No, he's always trained
30-year-old Kamal. Yeah.
No, he's always trained like that. So what I'm asking is, I know not all of us can do that, but just like you change the drugs after you have your mass, maybe you change your training as well and extend out your career.
I can only speak from experience, and I've pulled so much back on my training.
Yeah.
Like I don't chase anything. I don't chase anything to the point of grit and rip anymore.
Yeah, I'll say this much: to get up the mountain, you got to put more effort than when you're already at the top of the mountain, and that's food, drugs, training. Once you're there, you can level off, but it's like I don't know, accelerating a car, right? You got to put the foot down to accelerate, but once you're on cruise control, you can hit that cruise control button, you can pull off, and then the revs come down, and you just cruise. Right?
Ben's got all the analogies today. Just like knocking them out.
I got way more.
Like the one thing I don't want to encourage is like people training like a pussy. No, it's not that.
No, we're not saying that.
If you're very accurate, like not, and I don't mean accurate to the point of some of these fucking guys now that put a cuff on everything they do. I mean, if you have been training but if you've been, not everything, but if you've been training as long as us, you should by now have a pretty good understanding of your body's mechanics and how to lift.
Yeah.
And if you lift well, you will fatigue fast because you're going to hit the muscles. It's like, I remember Neil Hill saying to me that he had Rami on like when Rami and him had a little stint, I'm pretty sure he told me this. He had Rami on a hack squat, and Rami's so in connection with his quads that he managed to like fatigue himself with like fuck all weight on there. And I mean like legit fatigue himself. Yeah. And that's like kind of the approach. Obviously, I still like to lug around some good weight, but I would rather get there sooner than later now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're also talking about, okay, so two things just to that point, James. People need to understand we're talking about refining the body after it's already put on all its muscle. We're talking about is not the 20-year-old kid who's got like 180 pounds, who's still trying to climb them, like Ben said, climb the mountain. Absolutely. We're talking about the guys who already have all the mass they need or close to it, kind of refining their training, refining their drugs, and refining their eating just to extend out their career. Because James, if you kept going, like, how old are you now? 32, 33?
33 now.
33, right? So let's say you kept training the way you did at 26 or 27 or 28. Your career would be over at 38. Like, how much longer could you go? You know what I mean? Whereas
something would tear.
Yeah. So if at 32, you go, hey, you know what? I weigh 270 pounds on stage. I don't need to be bigger. I just need to look better. Maybe refine the muscles, maybe more detail, maybe smaller waist, maybe whatever is going to make you look better. Now you've extended out your career from 37 to maybe 42, 43, if you wanted to go that far.
Yeah. And on top of that, like to add, like the one main thing as well, all these decisions have come from wanting to just feel better as a person. Like everything about, bodybuilding is so important, but what's most important is how are you with yourself? What's your relationship like with yourself? Do you like who you are? Do you like how you look? And these changes have taken a certain external pressure off me having to be the guy that's lifting fucking 8 plates on a squat and expected to do so. And I actually feel more comfortable and less agitated by that. And I'm able to actually enjoy my bodybuilding more, which because I'm enjoying it more, I personally feel like my body's responding because I haven't got those anxieties there. And look, again, I could get to the Arnold stage. I might go on there. I don't think this will be the case, but I'd go on there and I might look worse than I ever have. It's not, but am I happier than I've ever been?
Yeah,
I am.
Well,
and I'm not trying to cop out and say that I don't care about winning. Of course I do.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to also say that there's so much more to who you are than, you know, just the superficial, you know.
The other thing as well is for James, and just going back into the actual bodybuilding part of it, if everything goes well and he qualifies for the Olympia, he's got to extend that. And if he's burnt out mentally from the prep, that plays a role too. You know, you have to keep things, you have to pace yourself in this.
Well, going to the pressure of it, James, I think you've done those lifts enough now where you don't have anything to prove. So it's not like
I feel so.
I don't think anybody thinks that you're not strong enough to do it. So you don't really have to do that. The other thing I noticed too is you sounded a lot like Cedric there for a second. Cedric used to always say, I'm doing this my way. I'm doing it how I like it. I'm doing it how I see it should be done. Yeah. And Cedric was always applauded for not following the crowd and just doing it the way he felt like he should do it and looking the way he felt was what bodybuilding should look like. So you've almost taken a page out of Cedric's book now and been like, you know what? I want to do this my way, the way I like it.
No doubt. And there would definitely be influence from such people. Yeah. You may not notice it straight away, but obviously we've all listened to these people speak, seen them perform, shared the stage with them. I've been backstage with Cedric multiple times and spoke to him. And yeah, his character would have definitely rubbed off on me, whether I know it or not. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we can only thank these kind of people for actually making bodybuilding mentally healthier.
Yeah.
Because it really doesn't have to be as pressureful as we make it. Like, I know that it should be, there's sport and there should be some, but a lot of it is ourselves on ourselves. And if we can kind of somehow alleviate some of that, I guarantee that we'll have a longer career and a better one.
But that's not even, I mean, even speaking to competition, eliminating pressure or alleviating pressure can make you a better bodybuilder. I mean, Iain's talked about this. So. Iain's talked about being like 2018 year where he was like all in 1000%, didn't think about anything else and was like hyper focused, pressure filled, and didn't do as well as the next year where he calmed the fuck down and took some pressure off and lived life a little bit. And the next thing you know, he starts winning.
Mate, it's like Eminem said in that song, it's like my head's like a stovetop. Like, how much steam can you hold in you? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if you've got too much in there, what's going to happen? It's going to explode. And if it explodes, then you're in a right shit mess. And that doesn't matter, like, how good you were doing. Once you explode and nothing's going to work out. So you might as well try and fucking control these, you know, emotions, not even just emotions, but like just how you spend your days that allow you to feel more comfortable in yourself and not feel over. Like, you got to be super involved in bodybuilding. It is what you are, but it doesn't have to. It's like we've always said before, it doesn't have to be a shackle. And if you can avoid it being a shackle and it can be a pleasure, like I look at it now, like it's an honor to be a professional bodybuilder, and I'm lucky that I get to do what I do.
That's dramatically different. That's dramatically different from the way you sounded last year.
Absolutely. And look what happened last year.
When we had this conversation last year, you're the one who brought up the term shackle because of the way you felt. So the fact that you're saying
myself
now,
last year,
but do you not think there's this culture in bodybuilding that we gravitate towards wanting to feel like that a little bit? But if we don't feel that way, then we feel like we've been pussies and we're not training hard enough and we're not suffering enough and we're not. But what I'm finding is sometimes I even like to bring up like Roman. I told Roman, if this was a competition of the tough man competition of who could suffer the most, you'd have won already. You'd have won already.
He's Mr. Olympia.
Sometimes it's not about suffering more, especially once you get to that very top level. Look, there are a lot of amateurs. You straight need to suffer more. You're just being lazy pricks, right? Yeah. But at this kind of level, working hard, like for Dean, I have to pull Dean back all the time. No, get off the cardio. Like, no, he's like, I was just going to do a bit more today just to push the. No, like, stop. Stop. We're trying to like, we have to keep this. We have to keep the brain and the body happy, and then it moves the right way. Because at the point where that doesn't happen anymore, and a lot of it, Patrick taught me that as well. I'll give a big credit to him on this. The body will follow where the mind is, and I feel like James is the kind of living proof of that right now, and he's kind of figured that one out and is walking that path, which I'm happy about.
I feel like James, if correct me if I'm wrong, but you found a place where you're still suffering, but not suffering. So like when you're in the gym, you're still leaving the gym feeling like, fuck, that burned the fuck out of me. Yeah. But you're not suffering in the other 22 hours or 23 hours at home.
Yeah. Yeah. There's that. And it's also because of the way that I'm working is that there is some reward in a sense, like, with this kind of how you eat.
Yeah.
So you don't mind suffering because there is some reward to a certain extent. And that's why I find, for me personally, this is a very healthy approach, because I'm happy to like really dig in and work very hard, not because I want a reward, but because I know that results come from this setup.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm not talking about not working hard. That's don't confuse.
No.
I know.
I just want to. Okay. I'm more clarifying for people. I don't want people to hear what we're talking about is very, very tough to articulate to the average person, because the way it may sound to people is like, oh, they have a lot of balance and they're taking it easy and they're not maybe. And I don't want it to come off like that. The people have to understand that there's still suffering involved. James is suffering in a different way than he did in the past. Yeah. It's like, it's not as monotonous, I guess.
Yeah. And listen, you still got to have, bodybuilding has to be in your DNA and in your blood. You got to sweat this shit out and bleed this shit out. Like when you're in the gym, like there is no compromise. You do what you got to fucking do, but doing what you got to do and doing what you thought you had to do are two different things sometimes, because there is, like we've said earlier, there is overdoing it. And in a game where it's about losing body fat and sustaining muscle tissue in a calorie deficit, it's very easy to overdo and actually mess up that objective, because doing too much is one of the worst things you can do.
Yeah, I guess that's how we have to say it, is instead of like, I guess in the past, James, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, I did this. I had a map out in my mind of what I had to do and what it should look like and how much I should be suffering. And if I wasn't suffering to that level, it meant I wasn't working hard enough. But as you're finding out now, suffering to the level that you want to in your head could sometimes be detrimental to your body if you're crazy enough, right? Because if you're crazy enough, you'll go in every day and you'll eat fucking 0 carbs and you'll do hours and hours of cardio. That doesn't mean it's going to be beneficial to you winning on stage.
No, absolutely.
I think this is. This is even. You go.
Sorry, Ben. That's right.
Go ahead, Ben.
I think this is even more applicable. Like we're talking James's 270s. That's why open class bodybuilding is more fun to me. I think it's even more applicable in this. Like I couldn't diet down a classic guy in the same manner because it's a different organism, and I feel like people I feel like a lot of open class bodybuilders make the mistake of never adjusting their approach from when they were an amateur and they were a lightweight or a middleweight or light heavyweight, whatever it is, and now they're an open class bodybuilder and it feels like they didn't adjust to that. This is what worked for me. This is what worked for me when I was 22 years old. I'm like, yeah, but you were 200 pounds in your off season when you were 20 years old. This isn't the same body. This isn't the same set of rules. You can't do that same thing. It's a completely different dynamic.
I'll put that on myself, dude. When I was 20 years old, started bodybuilding. My approach was bulk as much as possible, and then get ready for a show. And every year I would put on 10 pounds of stage weight, at least 5 or 10, right? But then I got to a point where my stage weight didn't change too much. I was like around 250. 255, maybe 260, in that range for like a good 5 years, but I still would bulk to 300, 310 pounds. So it's like you said, I used a strategy where I was like, well, this worked when I was 20. It should still be working when I'm 30. And I'm like, no, maybe had I been like, okay, I put on enough muscle now, I don't have to bulk. I don't have to add 40 or 50 pounds. I can add 20 or 30 and be healthier. So you're right. Those things that you learn along the way of what worked for you then doesn't always end up.
It's also about managing your fatigue at that point. It's different. Like when I'm
still here.
Yeah, I'm still here. I've been taking it all in. I'm learning a lot. No, but what I'm saying is like when I was, doing my first show, I was a light heavy. I was 198 pounds when I did my first show. So my approach to cardio was different. I used to do a lot of sprints. I used to nail sprints on the bike and I'd sprint my fucking ass off. And this last prep, I found myself doing that at 240 pounds.
Yeah.
Which is a lot different than doing that at 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I had a lot more fatigue and I couldn't really get myself out of that hole that I was digging.
Did Do you and Ben have the same
internet provider?
Hey, mine's good now. Mine's good now. Fuck you. This is golden.
I can move out for. I don't know where the fuck I cut off, but
no, we heard most of what you said. You just cut out for a second there.
And I also will say that I've pulled back a lot on my volume this year, and I'm doing less volume than I was last year. And if I look at my logbook, I'm actually doing less weight than I was last year on most of my movements. And it's just because I'm able to get more out of those sets and out of that particular weight than I was last year.
Doesn't that fuck with you?
Yeah, it fucks with my head. Yeah. Am I stronger? Yes. I know I'm stronger, and I know that I could execute at a higher weight with everything, but I'm just able to get more out of these movements.
But how is that quantifiable? Because this is confusing to me because you live by the logbook.
I do.
So how is it quantifiable?
I'm not saying across the board. I'm not saying everything. I'm not
fine.
strong.
Let's just take one movement, for example, whatever movement you want to pick. Like let's say hack squats or something.
Hack squat, yeah. Sure.
Okay. If you're lifting less, and I'm only saying this in the context of you being married to the logbook.
Yep.
So if your logbook says less weight, but you say to me, I feel more, I believe you, but how is that quantifiable if you're a logbook person?
So if I look back, let's say I did 7 plates on the hack squat last year, and right now I'm doing 6 1/4.
Yeah.
I look back at how I executed that 7 plates, and I know that I've progressed my execution.
Oh, so you're saying your
form is better. Sure, but also how much I'm able to get out of it, even within the same execution, is progressive.
So you're just saying you're feeling
yes. Does that make sense?
He's got more skillful at the movement.
I'm neurologically, yeah, there you go, skill. Yeah.
It's because progressive overload is you're still progressive as long as with progressive overload, as long as a factor is progressing, you're still and it can load.
Okay, wait a minute. I get that, but you fucking badgered me about the logbook. But now you're talking about I'm pointing at you, Justin.
Yeah.
But now this is why I love this podcast. All the shit's on tape. I can go back.
We're eating cheat meals and fuck the logbook.
I'm still talking about
Ben, see that? That's where we go.
Where's my anadrol?
So I'm still talking about being progressive within these certain parameters.
Before we're done this fucking podcast, whatever it ends, you guys are all going to be on anadrol and McDonald's.
No more anadrol. I'm already on enough.
Okay, wait. No, seriously, I'm asking a serious question. Okay. And this is, like I said, again, this is only in the context of the logbook. But now you're talking about a feeling. So how do you measure that in your book? You don't. You just know, right?
You don't. I just know. That I'm a different bodybuilder than I was a year ago.
But that's what I used to say to you about why I don't need a logbook. I'd be like, because I can feel my progression, and you would say that's not quantifiable.
Well, I'm going to refer to the logbook strictly from.
Why are you laughing, James?
Because I just love this conversation.
So I'll refer to the logbook strictly as like let's just say it's an accountability thing.
Okay.
And I look at it and I say, last week I did 12 reps. I get in my fucking head and I say, let's do 13.
Yeah, I like that.
It helps me and it keeps a fire lit under my ass and it keeps me pushing forward. Now, when I reflect back on something, say a year ago, and maybe I'm doing a little bit less or even the same, it can fuck with your head. But I also know that I'm executing within different parameters of execution. And I just have to acknowledge that. So I'm getting more out of it.
I think the middle ground where we can both agree.
Yeah.
And you can tell me if you don't agree, but I think being married to a logbook is wrong.
Yeah.
Having a logbook as a measuring stick is a good idea.
Yeah. I will say that I'm less. I have my face less buried in my logbook this year than ever.
Yeah.
I would also say this, that middle ground is golden if you love this.
Yeah.
If you genuinely love working your ass off.
Yeah. If you're just getting into this and you need that fucking, hey, this is what you got last week, you fucking have to beat that. Because otherwise,
I mean, again, it goes back to previous points, which is Justin's been doing this for a number of years now, and he understands his body, so he can have a little bit of wiggle room in that logbook. Whereas if you're new and you're beginner, intermediate, you might need to hold yourself accountable directly.
And I was actually thinking about this as well. Like, weirdly, last night I might have been slightly intoxicated, but I had this thought process about just coaching and where I've evolved from. and then how my plans, because Hunter messaged me about his plan. He's like, oh, the macro. And I was like, fuck, I don't even know what macros you're on. If you ask me how many carbs he's eating, I could not fucking tell. Like, yeah, I could sit there and figure it out.
Yeah.
But I think for everybody, and I guess more so coaches or even bodybuilders that are doing their own thing, the moment once you've got the foundation, like once you've got your 6 meals in place and you know protein and you know what fats and carbs are, once you've got that, after a couple of years, lose the numbers. I don't give a fuck how many carbs you're eating. I don't give a, like, go off the visual. How do I look? Do I need more food? Do I need less food? Do I need more carbs? When you
sorry, I just want to clarify, Ben, when you're saying, so you're saying people should look at the amounts of food more so based on what they see in the mirror.
Yeah. Go, okay, match up the look and the weight with, do I need more food or less food right
instead
now?
of looking at like macro numbers.
Because I see all these Excel spreadsheets and they're all very pretty. And I used to do the same thing. And I was analyzing what I've done and where my own development and growth and why I've got so much better in my own opinion at coaching.
Yeah.
It's because I'm not confined by these numbers and the semantics and
yeah.
And I'm going, okay, look at this person. What do they need? Okay, so rice is rice, right? Fucking potato, whatever it is. And for the most part, once you've got the foundation in and you're locked in, if you're a good bodybuilder, you're eating the same kind of foods, right? You're eating chicken, steak, egg, so broadly speaking, once you start throwing macros in for people, they start going, but I can switch that for that because it's the same amount of protein.
That's the biggest thing. Is if I tell someone 100 carbs, they might just eat a couple bagels instead of eating 350 grams of rice.
Lose that mentality. I promise you, everybody's coaching will improve, or coaching and bodybuilding, the physiques will get better because you're locked into what you're seeing rather than, I think he needs 200 grams of carbs in that meal. He needs this. Like, just go off of, once you found that baseline and then you can adjust from there, just go off of the foods.
It's funny you say that because Chad and Hani, I work with them consecutively, like back to back, and neither one of them ever wrote down any nutritional facts. I'm sure they knew them, but like when my program came to me, it literally had no nutrition facts in it. It was this much carb, this many ounces of potato, this many fucking ounces of meat.
Well, I do everything on a notes now, and it's literally just like 6 ounces of beef, 200 grams of rice. It's whatever, right? There's no information about this is 60 grams of protein or 50.
It's not like we don't know 4 eggs is going to have.
We're bodybuilders. Like, we can look at someone says have 100 grams of rice. We know it's 75 grams of carbs, like per dry weight. Like, if we don't know that ourselves, then we're fucking numpties.
Mm-hmm. The only
but honestly, if you lose that, it will make everything better.
Yeah, the only time I got
I agree with that
was when I started working with John. John would send me a spreadsheet and it had all the nutritional facts. I never really even looked at it. I think it was more for his reference.
I feel like John's just a very detailed person.
Yeah,
you know.
I used to do the same thing. I used to send a spreadsheet, right? And I would have the meals. There'd be a food column and then macros, right? And I'd only count the major macros.
Yeah,
so,
that's how I did it too.
For instance, like in like nut butter, it's only a fat, but I know there's some carbs, some like whatever. Fuck it.
Yeah.
And they would always, I'd always get these. Oh, what about this amount in there? And I was like, listen, the macro. I used to have to put it on there. The macros are for me, my benefit only, just so I get a rough idea of where we're at. Anyway, when I completely dropped it, I didn't get any of those questions. No one gave a fuck about how much of what, and everything got better.
Yeah, nobody's asking you about the protein in their oats anymore.
Well, I mean, at the end of the
day, how
much
protein's in my bread?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's their responsibility. I mean, it doesn't have to be their responsibility, but if you send the food plan, they can easily figure out the macros if they go onto any calorie calculator and figure it out.
Yep, exactly. And it's not that it's wrong to provide macros, but I do take on clients that sometimes send me a very detailed Excel spreadsheet of what they've been doing.
Yeah,
I throw it away and I just send them their meals.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they, you can sense that there's some feeling that maybe you're less detailed, but I think unmuddying the water is going to help you long term.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day,
bullshit to think about.
Simplicity's sake is just nicer for the athlete or the client to just have one thing to focus on.
Do you guys
it'll free your mind.
I'd rather.
I have a question for you guys, and it's based kind of on what we're talking about. Do you think it's the coach's job to teach or just coach?
I teach.
Just coach.
So
James.
Just coach. Just fucking coach.
Make sure both.
Justin, you cut out. Start over.
I think That's right. I think it's a mixture of both. And I think it depends on the client. I think some of my clients want to be taught and they ask questions and I have that relationship. But some people, okay, go. I'll wait.
The reason I'm asking is I understand that some people want to be taught and some people don't. But as a coach, you should have your system. Either I'm a teacher or I'm a coach.
I will say I never send an update without giving a brief overview of just a few cliff notes. Hey, I lowered the food, blah, blah, blah. This is going on. This is going on. Okay. Check in next week.
Okay, go ahead.
Right. That's where I'm at. I think teach is probably the wrong word. I'm more
informing.
I'm more enlightening them. Hey, you're a little flat. We're going to add some more food today.
Yeah. Right. Hey, you dropped 4 pounds over the last 2 days. I'm going to give you a high day. Let's feed up and then check back with weight in 2 days.
Okay.
I want to let them know why I'm feeding them up.
Okay. To me, that's not really teaching, even though it is.
That's why I said it's a wrong word.
Well, I think it's teaching if your client is receptive and is learning from what you're doing with them.
I guess the way I meant it was I've sent programs before and had people question every single decision. And I'd be like, look, this is the program I believe. Like, I don't have to explain every single thing to you. But then there are people that think coaches are supposed to be teachers and they are supposed to explain everything. And I'm like,
I don't.
I'm like, not really. I'm like, you're not paying for an education. You're paying for my knowledge, right? Yeah. You're paying for my knowledge. You're not paying for me to give you my knowledge.
Yeah. So that's why I stopped helping people.
Some people can be a huge pain in the ass.
That's kind of why I stopped helping people too, because
I stopped because I was getting like emails from people who I've helped organize, cycle, nutrition.
Yeah.
And then they're telling me things that they've seen other people talk about that should be implemented. Mm-hmm. All these long words. And I'm like, bro, I don't even know what the fuck that is. Why, if I didn't know what the fuck that is, why am I going to suggest it? Why are you telling me to suggest it?
Well,
it's because I was just like, fuck me. This is my knowledge, not.
Yeah. I almost feel like they want you to explain the science behind every decision.
Bro,
and I'm like,
not even just that. They want to suggest what you told them to do.
I've had that too.
They want to tell you about a peptide that they've heard about that they want to do, but you've never fucking heard of it.
Yeah.
And they want you to give them the fucking nod, the thumbs up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, do that peptide. I've never fucking heard of it.
Yeah. I don't know, Ben. You are definitely the coach on the podcast. Like, how much?
I don't know. Am I? I thought Iain was the coach.
Oh, let's get in. You know what? Let's get into this. Oh, here we go. So we had a James. I don't know if Justin, you heard this, but James and Justin, we had a podcast. Last podcast, somebody asked the question, who's the best coach on the podcast? And I said, I would say Ben, but statistically, Iain has 3 Mr. Olympias. So that's what I said. That's what I said.
Mr. Olympia is reserved.
3 Olympia wins.
3 classic Olympia wins. So I said it would have to be, statistically, we would have to go with Iain. And Ben somehow one of his fucking troublemaker fans sent it to him.
That's funny.
And now Ben's mad at me because I didn't say he was the coach of the podcast. So
I'm not mad.
What do you guys think? What would you guys say?
I think let me ask the question. Who would you rather coach you?
Well, Ben. But that wasn't, I said statistically.
No, but that's the answer. That's who you believe is the better coach.
Okay, I think I got a question.
But
I think I have I have a closer relationship with Ben, and I think our communication would be a little more open. That I would definitely choose Ben in that scenario. But I'm not saying that's not to say that maybe Ben isn't the better or is the better coach.
Be careful. You have a love affair with Iain.
Yeah, of course I do. I know that. So I have to tread lightly. But
all I'm saying is we just simplified the whole topic there and got the answers we need.
No, we're trying to make it more complicated. The question is, does 3 classic Mr. Olympia wins overcome 1 4th place at the Open?
Yes. Yeah. No. The 3.
That was the question you said to me this morning. You said the 4th place Open is more important than the classic victory.
Yeah, but then Ben's turned someone pro this year.
Ben, that's contradictory.
It doesn't.
That's contradictory to Ben as well, because Ben said the winning 212 is more important than a 3rd place.
I said if you ask Flex Lewis, he would tell you.
You said that. You said it before we called Flex.
I said a lot of dumb shit on that one. I got called out a bunch. Let's ignore. That's all right.
Actually, then what is actually more
prestigious?
Important.
I'm going to take Flex. I'm going to take Flex's answer, even though I disagreed with it when he explained it. I thought it made sense, and Paul said this morning too, because I asked him the question we were talking about, Ben. I think a victory is more important than a 3rd or 4th place.
So my win at the Lila Brada Classic is better than your Arnold showing.
We're talking about the Olympia.
But that's my point. The level of competition also matters, right? And not to be disrespectful, but Chris is quite a way ahead of his competition, in my opinion.
Oh, I don't think you should fault somebody. I don't think you should fault somebody for that.
I'm not faulting him. I'm faulting Iain.
I don't like that. You know what? Listen, I've done that before, admittedly. And I will apologize firsthand to every fucking coach I've ever said that about. And I think George Fair is one of them. I will apologize firsthand to that. I think that's wrong to say so-and-so has such good genetics that it doesn't matter who coaches them. I think the coach should get credit regardless of the athlete's genetics. Like Hani coached Phil. Phil won 7 fucking Olympias. I've heard people say, "Oh, a monkey could coach Phil." Maybe they couldn't. Maybe Phil looked that good because Hani coached him.
The intrinsics matter in coaching. This is again something that Patrick's taught me. The rapport and the relationship I build with my athlete, whether they have the world's best genetics or not, fucking matter.
Okay, then you can't take it away.
And not every coach can work with every athlete. I will fucking 100% on that.
Then in saying that, you could never take it away from Iain for 3 Olympia wins.
No, I'm not. I'm fucking joking.
No, you took it away. We're gonna see a video. Made.
No, you know
Ben
what?
Says Iain sucks.
No, I give Iain tremendous credit for not taking more credit than he does.
Oh, yes, I totally do. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. And the fact he juggled his own career as well.
Well, also a lot of people forget too that as good as Chris's genetics are, he's had a lot of health issues and Iain's had to navigate those. So I think it takes I think it probably takes a lot of knowledge to be able to work around Chris's health limitations and still bring him in better and better each year. Yeah. So again, I will stick to my original quote. Statistically, Iain's got you.
It's all right. I wouldn't want to coach you anyway, so fuck off.
I wouldn't listen.
Nobody would want to coach Fouad.
Fouad's done my diet 13 different times this year. I'm doing what you're doing. Okay?
Every time Ben says something, I'm like, I could do that diet. And I do it for like 2 days.
I'm going to do that.
Listen, I am enjoying retirement. Fuck you guys. I eat what I want to eat when I want to eat. Okay, not fuck you guys, but
I'm happy for you.
I have put in the work. And now I don't have to put in the work anymore. So that's how it works. Well, that's I mean,
that's how it works. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
That's I mean, listen, I would love to be the guy that still like eats chicken and rice every day. I just don't want to. I did. You know why?
I hardly want to be that guy right now.
You know what it is though? Like when I started bodybuilding, I started doing all that stuff literally for competition.
Yes.
Like I didn't like eating chicken and rice. I didn't want, I never did steroids. I never lifted like a bodybuilder. And then one day somebody said, try that competition. And I did all of those things all at the same time.
So void of the competition, you don't really have much of a purpose behind it.
I love training.
Yeah.
But I don't love dieting and I don't love taking steroids. So
yeah, no,
I trained
twice a week.
I trained a long time before considering doing a bodybuilding show or taking drugs or
I trained natural for like 7 years before I did anything.
But I'm just saying
Fouad went day one.
Oh, I'm doing a show, give me the Anadrol.
Yeah, as soon as they did a show I took drugs.
No, but like when you think of all the traditional bodybuilding things, I didn't do any of those things really until I started competing. So now that if you eliminate competition, the only thing I really love about bodybuilding is the training.
You got to admit you feel better when you're nailing your diet.
I do. And that's why I don't eat like a total slob, because I'm like, I still feel better when I eat relatively clean. But
I've spent enough time with you outside of, inside of your retirement rather. I see how you function throughout the day. It's not like you're eating like a pig every meal. You're still eating.
No. I eat relatively.
You have your huge bowl, your vats of oatmeal.
Those are legendary.
Those are legendary.
The double up that he did at this house, the double up blew my mind, because that massive Mickey Mouse bowl I have was full, and and I didn't know he went back for the second one right after. That's impressive.
It was like an hour later. He had another one.
I feel like oatmeal is a secret that most.
I couldn't eat that
oatmeal.
Much
Oatmeal's a motherfucker to eat.
No, but wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'm saying for people with eating disorders like me. Oatmeal is a godsend, because like 2 cups of dry oatmeal is like 120 grams of carbs.
So early on in my day, James will know this. Well, James will know what I'm talking about at least, because they don't have it here. But I used to eat all bran after a show because it's just like it's cereal. You put a little bit of milk on it, but it was like, yeah. And I used to just sit there. If I was hungry after I'd eaten all my food, I'm like, fuck, I just eat like 2 massive bowls of all bran, and my stomach would be fucking out.
Yeah, you feel full, but it's not a ton of calories.
But it was the only way I could get like my stomach to feel full up. And before I could like switch my brain off from food, that was early on when I was very food focused.
Yeah,
but they didn't have all bran here. I love all bran.
Listen, John Jewett said it. John Jewett said it best. He would switch a lot of his carbs to oatmeal because he just felt more full, like stomach full.
Oh, yeah. During a contest prep setting, yes.
Yeah,
I will say I have to manage my digestion because it just tends to
slower.
Yeah, it does absolutely.
There's a lot of oxalates in it as well.
Meal one is typically going to be oatmeal when I'm deep into prep.
Man, I used to wait for like when I was being coached and meal 1 was oatmeal, I would literally wait. I'd go to bed early so I could get up and have my oatmeal.
You realize how much like your oxalate intake would have been and how stressful that is on the kidneys as well, right? With oatmeal.
Oh, shut up.
Just saying.
Go fuck yourself.
I'm just saying.
Ian would never say something like that.
Yeah. See, that's why I want Ian to coach me, because he would tell me to eat all the oatmeal I wanted.
Yeah. No, but seriously, I did watch you eat like 250 grams of carbs of oatmeal inside of 2 hours.
Oh yeah. It was
oatmeal. Oatmeal's so versatile. Like you chop up a banana.
Yeah.
You fucking add protein powder.
I don't think you did any of that. It was just like a fucking
water and just pound.
Yeah, like you put a little cinnamon on there and just pound it.
I love cinnamon.
And then you put like a baby
Splenda.
Yeah.
Splenda.
Oh yeah. Like 8 packets of Splenda.
Three packets of Splenda.
Times 2 bowls. So 6
50 grams.
3 times 4.
3 packets of Splenda, cinnamon, and like a heaping teaspoon of peanut butter. And that's fucking gold for me.
And then the next morning he's like, yeah, I shit my pants this morning. Real bad. I don't know why. Probably because the whole carton of fucking oatmeal you ate.
Fuck you guys. Hey, listen.
No, it's fine.
Let me ask you this, kidney specialist over here.
No.
If I'm starving, right, and I want to binge, instead of getting a pizza and eating a bowl of oatmeal, which is better for my kidneys?
No. You can't.
I think it was like the bowl of oatmeal and like 8 whole eggs too.
Why is that the hang on?
I think it was.
But look at that alternative option. He's like gone from, well, I can have 2 bowls of mashed oatmeal or pizza, so choose which one. It's like, hang on.
Yeah.
Well, what about all the other options, or maybe not eating and just going to bed and.
But you don't understand the benefit to the oatmeal. It's so much food and so little calories that I don't have to binge on shitty food. It's like a safety net food, right? It keeps me from eating a lot of shit because it fills me up.
I get it, but your alternative was either oatmeal or pizza, so Ben choose. Well, obviously, fucking a shit ton of oatmeal then.
All right, let's do some questions. You guys want to rate a physique? We haven't rated a physique in a while.
No, James, go. I was
just going to ask because I know that. Did you this is don't even have to say enough about it, but you saw Flex's thing, for his advert.
No,
the betting thing on his Instagram.
No, I'll go
with the hair.
So it's with the long hair, but there's a little secret to that video.
1 second.
It's his latest post. Yeah,
I'm going to it right now. Oh shit! It's a second latest post. Let me see. Share this one here.
Yeah.
The snake channel thing.
Wait, I gotta share with sound. 1 second. Share with sound. Yes.
I'll tell you a little something about that video.
You want to watch it first or tell me first?
No, you got to watch it because you need to listen to it.
Okay.
Nevada. Something. Sorry.
Somewhere in the Nevada desert.
All right.
I got a free plug.
I know what you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna say, James. Go ahead. Tell them.
The boys know what I'm gonna say.
Justin, Ben,
what are we talking about?
Do you know anything about the video that you shouldn't know?
No.
There's a relation between me and that video.
Oh, is there?
What do you think it is,
there
Justin
is.
or Ben?
I don't know. Just the idea of a guy snake charming sounds a little
watch
gay.
it. Watch it again. Watch it again with that in mind.
What?
Watch it again and see if you can figure out where James fits into this.
Somewhere in the Nevada desert.
Not everybody can be a snake charmer, but everybody can use betonline.ag. Take from me, a semi-professional snake charmer.
Oh, yeah, no, play.
I'm stumped.
Let me stop this.
A pale white guy?
Okay. Anything else? Nobody? Go ahead, James. Tell him.
So, the first person to voice in a video is me.
No way.
That's James' voiceover.
That was me.
No
Flex
way.
messaged me, and Flex messaged me. He said, "Can you do a quick voiceover for me? Like, I just want you to say somewhere in the Nevada desert." So I was like,
Okay,
so I
say
sent
that.
him over a couple
Play that one more
Okay,
time.
now do it.
Now I want to hear it.
Honestly, you guys got to know something before I
You're
play this. So James is in the circles, obviously, with us on Telegram.
Mhm.
We realized James has a talent that nobody ever knew about, which is fucking all these different impressions.
Oh, really?
It's just Bane.
I wouldn't say impressions, but I can throw the odd. Sometimes I've got the odd voice that just works.
It's fucking crazy, man. Okay, we'll do one more time.
You think darkness is your ally?
Oh, it's way better than that's not bad, but
Oh, I'm
it's way
sure.
better than-
Somewhere
Yeah, mine was very good.
in the Nevada desert.
The Nevada gave it away with the R.
Yeah, because I did too. I sent him one. saying
Someone
Nevada.
auto-tuned that shit. That was not.
Do
No.
it, James. Do it right now.
Somewhere in the Nevada desert.
I can't do it properly, but that's kind of it.
That didn't. I'm not buying it.
Somewhere in the Nevada desert.
Because I sent him one saying Nevada desert like that as well, and he obviously went with the Nevada one.
Do it again, so Justin could believe.
Get
you.
close in on the mic.
Somewhere in the Nevada desert.
Okay.
Nice.
Hit
I'm
it,
buying
man.
it.
I had to close my eyes, but I got it. Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I'm sure
They-
that'd be funny. to see.
James, they should use your voice for all the Machiavelli videos instead of Guy and fuck him off. Guy needs to.
listen.
Guy's old news now. Guy's old news. Get James on.
I'm not going to say I don't agree.
James has a career in voiceovers for sure.
Yeah.
One day, we will. We'll.
The
Lex is going to
Hollywood,
sort me out a little job.
the Hollywood guy on all the trailers.
That's so funny.
Keep it.
I never in a million years could have guessed that.
We have a launch of a new flavor that we should get James involved with.
What flavor is it?
I can't tell you. It's a secret. But we're launching a new flavor next week. And I think we should use James.
How's your
It's not much of a
Mexican
secret.
accent,
You,
James?
you kind of just made a post about it.
Well, actually,
just
you're
told the
right. It's
world.
not a secret.
Yeah,
Just
it's a
cut that
secret.
out.
Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anyone it's a
you-
secret that we're
Well,
releasing a peach.
Two,
we don't know
one,
which
there's a
pro-
secret flavor coming out. Two, we're going to use a secret person's voice, but it's him.
No, I didn't say the secret.
from a different company.
From a different company.
But you're not going to be able to tell
Imagine
whose voice
And
it
it's,
is.
and the promo is going to be very racist.
It was. Are we doing that?
I have no idea. Nobody pitched anything.
So James, I have a question for you.
Okay, Ben, you're
We're
in
not
on
going to
that.
tell you. I'm not going to tell you what.
Sure, but I want to get Ben's point of view.
I know, but I don't want to tell them what it is. So, because
Of course, but I want to know what Ben feels. He read the pitch.
I know. So we have a launch, James, of a new flavor, and the launch is slightly racist. So-
What, slightly racist. What do you mean?
I pitched it as a complete joke,
but I loved it.
but
I
then
thought it was
Fouad calls me.
hilarious.
We're doing this.
How
But
racist are we talking?
It's just a sprinkle of racism. It's not like overly racist.
Can you, Justin? Are you going to do it in your farm? So you have like a peach, like you're going
No,
to
that's
be in your field?
tell too much. It's a little racially insensitive, but it's not racist.
Is it like? I don't know where to go with this, but I'm going to leave it. 'cause I
Well,
don't
we're
know.
playing on stereotypes.
What stereotype though?
Well, we can't tell you.
It's no more. I tell you what, it's no more racist than The Simpsons.
Okay, that's fine.
Then
I was going to say, is it Simpsons
Yeah.
or is it Family Guy?
It's kind of it's Simpsons kind of esque. It's
Yeah.
not
Okay.
Family
Yeah,
Guy
you're
or
all right to
South
that.
Park. It's not South Park racism. It's Simpson racism, right? That's
South
fair.
Park racism. Fuck.
Justin,
Yeah,
Justin, get to
That go down the
it really.
Justin's frozen again. What the fuck? You back now?
I'm back. Am I back?
Get to
Yeah.
fucking
It's
film it.
your
Let's do it.
arena.
I think you should film it. Let's do it.
Okay, I'll have to call my camera guy. I think he might be leaving town today
Oh,
and be
come
gone for the
on.
weekend.
No.
When do you need it done by?
No.
Well, 'cause
No,
then
nope.
that
I'll
pushes
tell him to
everything
I'll-
back.
I'll tell him to cancel his trip.
Say, cancel your trip. I need your help today. Say, go tomorrow.
Fuad's going to pay you $150.
Well, we'll add a little bonus.
Okay. $175.
160
$160. Yeah. And
to cancel
coupons
his
to
weekend.
local businesses.
You're such an asshole. James, see how these fucking guys treat me?
I do.
I should
That's what
fire.
family does.
I should fire all of them. You're all fired. Fuck you.
Fuck it. I'm going to Redcon. Sorry. Delete that.
Okay. All right, guys. Who places where? Is this for the Arnold UK or is this for the Olympia?
That's the question. Just who places where?
It says who places where, and then it says Samson, Quentin. It must be for the Olympia. Quentin's not qualified unless he qualified on
I
points.
think they're just talking about some.
He's not. They're just talking about general.
Okay, maybe they're just talking hypothetically. Samson,
Yeah, I think
Quentin, Blessing, Andrew Jack, Mark Hector.
I think Samson could be at the top of that.
Yeah, it's Samson really probably.
Wait a minute. Is we talking Samson from the Arnold?
Not Samson now.
No,
I think he's got
we're talking
330
about-
pounds. What is he going to be?
Yeah.
In my opinion.
This is the sticking point with Samson for me. If Samson's conditioning is better than the Arnold, Samson could be as high as top 5 easily at the Olympia.
Yeah.
If Samson's
Or top
conditioning,
3.
if Samson's conditioning is still like it was at the Arnold, I don't know if he can be in the top 5. He needs to not only have the size, but bring the conditioning with it.
Yeah. If he does that, it's a fucking problem for everyone.
Only limiting
It's ridiculous.
It is. Well, it is basically the only limiting factor, but it's a big one because I don't know if it's a conditioning thing where he can lose more fat or if it's a thick skin issue.
Well, my concern on it is to get conditioned, does he lose his pop? Right?
Yeah.
Because
like a Steve
when
Duclos
he's
effect.
from the front, like
Pops his
that's
thing,
the thing, and that's the whole point. Not everybody can get conditioned. Well, not everyone can get super conditioned, like say Iain does, whilst holding on to their plus points, right? And that's the art of bodybuilding. And that's the bit I'm curious about with Samson. Because if he can hold, then
I agree with you, but the top 5 do get that peeled and have that pop. So he's got to match them.
Yeah, but that's the question mark over Samson. Because if he can, then it's a fucking real issue.
It's a problem for everybody. Everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
But he's got to, I worry, I don't worry. I don't know. I don't know if he's in that Lionel Bayecki category or that Orville Burke.
Well, he is black.
If you guys remember Orville Burke, I know he's black.
He is black.
I mean,
you didn't notice.
You know, it's some black guys have thicker skin and they don't ever get that. Like Andrew Jack, when Andrew Jack went on stage, he had that thin, like really polished look because he had a thinner skin. So if Samson can bring that look, fuck, he can.
But I think
he could be the best out of this line here.
But here's the thing: I think Andrew at Texas, I fucking hate having to. It's almost like I'm terrified to say his name now because of. I'm
Just say what you got to say, man. Who cares?
Haunted by night.
But if you take Samson at the Arnold and you take Andrew in Texas, it's a very similar problem. And I say problem because it was from the front. It's almost like it's
because Andrew wasn't dug out from the back, was he?
No, I say Samson and they're really comparable in terms of those two looks because they both could have been sharper from the back, the glutes and the hams, right?
Okay, but that's not really what I meant. I meant more like when I look at the skin on Andrew's chest and shoulders, for example, has a really thin appearance to me.
Like Max Charles.
Yeah, almost like a Max Charles. I'm waiting to see that for Samson. I'm waiting to see that like really polished look. Because if he can get, like, look at Ronnie Coleman, massive, thin fucking skin. You can see everything. So if we're talking about Mr. Olympia, we're talking about somebody who can beat Rami or Nick or fucking Hottie or Hunter or Brandon. They got to have that look to be able to overcome those guys.
Yeah.
That's
what I wonder with Samson?
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know because I've never coached him, but I feel like his is just a case of tweaking hydration.
Think so?
Maybe.
I don't know. That's why I say I don't know if it's skin or condition. I don't know if it's skin or fat or what it is.
I don't know if he's ever truly like had to like focus on manipulating water. Because some people don't have to, some people do.
So I don't want to speak too much about some things, but I know that he is reluctant and steers clear of using diuretics.
That would explain a lot to me.
But that could also be
from and again, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but from what he told me at the Arnold, just after the Arnold, I was asking, we were talking about how he peaked and stuff, and I'm fairly certain he said he doesn't use diuretics and he hasn't used them since 2018 because he had a bad experience and he doesn't like using them. So,
but that could also be because Samson always talks about having trouble staying full for a competition. So maybe he's paranoid or scared to be like,
right. Yeah. I mean? That's another thing too. Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah,
I've just always found the difference. I know that you and I have done shows, Fouad, where we've actually like a couple of days before looked like we got no glutes and then tinkered with some things. Yeah. Day of the show, crispy as fuck.
Yeah.
So sometimes I just wonder if that's one. Yeah.
A lot of times I actually put water in on athlete. I increase the water with an athlete and their body gets drier and fuller.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I wonder if Samson, it's just when he gets to that condition, if it is a case of maybe just being a little bit more having a plan with the water.
Hey guys, how big is Mark Hector? Does anybody know what he weighs right now?
He's pretty big. He's wide. He's very wide.
No, but I mean weight wise. Does anybody know what he weighs?
Oh, he's 270.
Do a guy.
He's 270 right now.
He looks incredible.
Yeah.
See, because when I look at this list here, Samson, Quentin, Blessing, Andrew, Mark, I feel like Samson and Mark. I think Mark's a wild card in that list as well.
Mm-hmm. Mark has his own unique structure, so it's just whatever you like, because he's got this X frame.
Yeah.
But then Samson's got crazy quads.
Yes.
Samson
and that's
Mark's
what
Mark's got shoulder width, but then Samson's got thickness in the quads.
That's they kind of trade places there. Yeah. That'd be an interesting lineup. Yeah.
Would.
Man,
I would have Sam's. I would have on based on potential only. I would have Samson, and then Mark and Andrew. Yeah.
Based on potential, Samson has Mr. Olympia qualities.
Mm-hmm.
Based on potential, he has a couple things to tweak. I think he needs a little bit bigger back, a little bit more shredded. Samson has all the potential in the world. So, all right, let's move on.
Yeah, Samson's definitely going to at least win an Arnold in his career. I think
so too. I think him and it. I mean, it's a little tough because he's getting older. I think he's 37 or 38, 37, I think.
Black don't crack, bro. He can go till 45.
Yeah,
Black don't crack.
He could.
He did start late. He did start later, so he can go further.
Yeah. Exactly. 45, he'll still be good.
Yeah. Does the type of cardio matter as long as the expenditure is the same at the end of the day? No. Anybody? No. Okay.
Really? As long as you don't do I would rather do a longer. If your expenditure of calories was the same, I'd still rather do the slightly longer one that's less intensive.
Oh, that's a good point.
And less impact. I would say jogging would be, more impactful and stressful.
That's a very good point. So type of cardio, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, type of cardio doesn't matter, but as far as like what machine you use, but I think the duration and the intensity of it does matter.
I think so.
So like you can probably burn 400 calories in 10 minutes of sprinting,
right,
or running really fast, but that might be more detrimental to your leg mass than it would be doing 40 minutes of walking on the treadmill.
Yeah, because you come out of that aerobic activity, you start to use glucose, amino acids start to get glucogenesis, whatever the fuck happens. You start to use other fuels. You want to keep that. I know I'm not too scientific, but you don't want to be overexerting.
Yeah. Ben, you want anything to say about it?
I think it matters.
You think it matters?
Yeah.
In what way? Can you explain?
I person to person as well, but mainly mitigating fatigue and the build-up of fatigue, then certainly, yeah.
Are you saying type of cardio?
What about even cortisol?
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Yeah, even type of cardio. I would say stairs can be brutal and very hard to recover from for certain, especially a heavier athlete.
Sure.
I think walking is probably a very, very safe bet for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people do well on the bike as well. That's just, I think the stairs can expedite things potentially because it's a little more higher output. It's harder, but I think you can also get yourself into trouble if you rely on it.
Okay, but I want to ask you this though: are we talking in a very specific manner with very, very specific people. Because I think on a general spectrum of like the average person doing cardio or the beginner doing cardio, it probably doesn't matter that much.
I think Ben's referring to somebody in a contest prep setting when you're leading into a show, preserving tissue and managing fatigue. Then these things matter. If you're talking about the average guy that's going to get on the bike, the stepper, or the treadmill post workout, I don't think it matters.
Yeah. Okay.
And I would say this as well. I don't think necessarily weight matters, but if you have the more musculature you have for your natural frame, that's when you have to consider what you're using. So
I think body weight.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't care if you're a fucking 212 classic or an open, but I mean, if you have a lot of muscle and you are trying to preserve it, then you do have to be a little bit more mindful.
But also the stepper is going to be a lot more taxing for a 270-pound guy than a 200-pound guy.
100%.
Yeah, if the 200-pound guy isn't naturally 100-pound.
Yes.
Look,
This is where cardio for me, say for James, for instance, let's just use James as an example. Him doing the stepper for 30 minutes, even with a baseline heart rate of say 130, and it was consistent on versus the bike.
Yeah,
the bike is far less taxing on your quads and your legs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Versus the stairs for 100%.
Especially if you're talking about coming in the day after a leg day and hitting the stepper.
Yeah.
It can be brutal. It can be tough.
Well, I used to look at all the bodybuilders like Kevin Levrone, Sean Roden. They used to go on an incline treadmill.
Yeah.
Dorian used to use the bike. Like I used to do the stairs and stuff, but I think that contributed heavily to my weight coming down too much.
Yeah.
I do like stairs kind of early on in the prep as well.
Sure, but
toward the end, pull them out.
Yeah. See, this last prep for nationals, I did the bike the entire time. Then at the end, I started going on walks just so it was easier. Yeah. I was taking my dogs on walks. What I ended up doing is going to these trails, walking, and then I started doing fucking hill sprints like 2 weeks out, thinking yeah, I know. And I'm thinking I need to get ahead. I'm in my own head. I'm thinking I'm fat. And then I end up sprinting my legs off.
Yeah.
I've seen my legs.
We've all done it. Yeah, we've all done it.
Yeah.
And Lee Priest would do like 3 hours of just a walk around.
Yeah, but like again, it's just because he likes eating a lot and he would just do super steady state. Like he weren't ever.
Yeah.
He just, like he says it on the circles, like he literally would have whole cheat days and just walk for 3 hours because he's like, it helped him digest and feel normal and feel like it was okay. And then he'd just do his diet for a week and then do the same again a week later. So kind of the same principles as the skip loads. And like, it's been going on for years. All these kind of principles have been, they're not nothing new. They're just reinvented and reworded.
Reused.
I'd rather not eat all that food and not do 3 hours of fucking walking on my rest day.
Same. I could never be bothered to do 3 hours of cardio. That would just destroy me. My soul wouldn't want to be on the treadmill.
Unless I was out on like a fucking hike with Denise and we were up in the mountains.
And also, I don't think everybody can get away with that. I think Lee Priest is a very
probably one in a million
gifted individual. Yeah. Most people in a contest prep setting doing 3 hours of cardio is going to wilt away.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and not even just from a physical standpoint. Probably
like a mental standpoint. Like you're gonna,
you'd be like, "Fuck this."
Oh mate, I want to kill myself after like 20 minutes of walking. I'm like, this is fucking dull. I hate walking.
Are we still?
And I can't do a treadmill anymore. I have to go for a physical walk. Like I have to see things and move past things now.
Yeah, I think that kind of doubles back to what you were talking about, keeping your brain in a good headspace.
Yeah,
like walking on the treadmill in the gym post workout, and I'm just fucking staring at a wall. Kill me.
No, it numbs you. And I don't want to be numb. I want to
get outside, feel some fresh air. I love prepping in the winter and going on walks on
the jumper on
cold nights, hoodie on, hood up. Yeah.
That's when you feel alive.
Yeah.
I hear that. Fouad, you made it back.
Sorry guys, I had a business emergency.
It's all good, man.
He ate too much Taco Bell and had to take a shit. That's what it was.
We're taking some heat on the new racist promo.
Statistics are in. You're down 10%.
Yeah.
Let's see. Which matters more? How well this is actually we answered this one, the other one. Which one matters more? How well you place or how good your showing was?
I think how good your showing was. For me now, back in the day, it was always how I placed, but this year is like, I'm like, if I can get images of me looking my absolute best, even if I don't win, I will be a fucking happy man.
What if you won the Arnold and you weren't at your best?
then that's a bubble bonus. But I still look at myself and be like, man, I could do fucking better.
Would you rather?
I think it matters most how you look. But I think if you won the O and you didn't look your best, but you won 400 grand and you have an Olympia title.
Oh look, J07 didn't moan.
Nope, didn't mind a bit.
He knows it. No.
Yeah.
What if it's not, what if it's just the New York Pro? What if it's like you won the New York Pro, you got 10 grand, and you look like shit, or you could look absolutely awesome and be third?
I'd rather look absolutely awesome.
Fuck that.
Yeah, I think so. Especially I think in that setting, especially if you're talking about building your career, I'd rather have an amazing showing and not win.
Nah, give me the title.
Well, I was talking about a victory, bro.
Give me the ring, give me the W, and add it to my fucking...
And suck my dick.
That's
yeah, one of them.
Yeah. Is this year going to be the best Olympia lineup of all time? No.
It's going to be one of the big...
It's going to be very good, but...
It's going to be very...
It's the best in the last 6 years, right?
Very
Definitely.
deep, very competitive, but not the best of all time by far, I don't think. What is the best of all time?
I mean, it's up there. It's very good.
Oh.
What is the best of all time? Like 96, 98, 2003?
Late night. That crossover from the late 90s into the 2000s was just killers.
But then again, people would say no, because if you think about 2003, you'd be like, well, it was Ronnie and Jay and then everybody else. So that's not very...
Yeah, but but
01, you still had Levrone, and you saw Dennis. You still had, yeah.
Dennis Wolf.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, did you? Oh yeah, it was a while back that I sent round. I can't remember what year it was now, but it was nationals. The top 10 at nationals from like 95.
Oh,
and it's
fuck,
like,
I know. Before 95.
Before yeah. It
was like 92 or 91.
Yeah, like Ronnie, Kevin, Flex, Dennis, but nationals. I was like, one person won, and the rest, like, I'm like, holy fuck!
You know what I think that? You know what I think that is though. That's a symptom of men's physique and classic.
Yes, there's so much talent diluted into these other divisions. Like there's so many guys that are in classic that if they put on 20 pounds, would be fucking phenomenal bodybuilders. It could really increase the depth of open bodybuilding. But
because if you look at the 90s or early 2000s, there was only bodybuilding for men.
Yeah,
there wasn't anything else. So if you had a decent physique and you wanted to be part of the sport, you had to be an open bodybuilder. Now with men's physique and classic, you're like, well, I'll just be an influencer and I'll stay small and I don't have to fucking
be a pussy and fuck it.
You just called a whole bunch.
I know, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But no, you guys know when you're looking at these national level shows or even some of these pro shows with these classic guys, what I usually see is guys that could be fucking amazing bodybuilders if they just put in 2 years and put on 20 pounds, especially at like a national level. I'm just looking at guys. I'm like, God, you're just not there. You're a bodybuilder. You're just not there yet.
But I know Fouad has the same. Go on, sorry, James.
No, I was just going to say, I wonder, the thing is, like, devil's advocate, not because I don't think that, because I think a lot of people don't want to put in the work, but I wonder if they just have this opinion that they just don't like how open bodybuilders look.
That's not, maybe that's their preferred look, and obviously we're biased. We're open bodybuilders.
Especially now with opportunities that come from looking that way, modeling, like, I don't know. Like,
I think people in a rush to get on stage.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
I can agree with that. Time to build a physique.
I'm not under the impression at all that these guys want to be open bodybuilders and can't hack it.
Right.
I don't think these guys.
No. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No. I'm just saying to Justin's point of view, I don't think they want to put on the weight. They want to be classic guys.
Yep.
What I'm saying is if those classes didn't exist at all, they would have no choice.
We
would have a deeper pool.
Oh, but do you also agree to me that whether it's the chicken and the situation, the classic class has allowed people to expedite getting on stage sooner because they haven't got to spend 5 fucking years to get up to 250, 260.
Yeah, an amateur level for sure.
Those two things
amateur level for sure.
But those two things aren't exclusive of each other. Like, you might want to get on stage faster and not want to be big. Those could be the same person.
No, I know. I'm saying it, but in some instances, it played into that mindset of, well, I don't want to wait. I just want to get on stage now. Like, I don't want to have to. I don't want to spend 5 years.
I do know a lot of people, and bless them. Like, I'm not trying to be horrible. That are like, I'm a classic bodybuilder, but they actually aren't yet. But they're just light enough to fit in that category, so therefore they're going to do it.
Yeah.
So the bodybuilder in me wants to say, look, mate, like, I'm not trying to be rude. Yes, you are, in the criteria of, but if you want to take this very seriously, you don't look like a bodybuilder yet, whether it be classic or not. So just because you fit, like, don't mean that you're ready.
Yeah,
that's
you're supposed to
kind of
be
where
there.
I'm at.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not being rude. It's just because I want people to do well. I want them to do well. So if you're going to do well, take it seriously.
If you have maxed out your weight class in classic and you still need 5 pounds on your back and your legs, you need to take the time to move up.
Yeah.
That's no reason to hold yourself back from a progressive standpoint. Unless of course you just have no interest in being.
Yeah, unless you're just like, I'm fucking happy with where I'm at.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then fuck it.
If you had one wish, what would it be? And it can't be for more wishes.
Oh, I don't know, because that's just one of them questions. Sometimes I'm like, I wish I could live forever. Then other times I'm like, do I wish that? Do I wish I was rich? Like, none of them are very selfless. They're all quite selfish, I won't lie.
I wish I had ultimate financial freedom.
See, that's what I mean. Like, that's because I would do that, because then I'd have more time, because financial freedom means time, and then time means you could spend more with friends and family and loved ones and that kind of bullshit.
That's
so it's selfish but selfless.
Yeah, people look at that as selfish, but I think that financial freedom could allow for a lot of yourself to help other people.
Well, because
imagine how much you could go to like homeless shelters and help, knowing that you haven't got to fucking work and you got the money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, think about when people think of financial freedom, they think, oh, you just want to buy cars or boats or whatever, which I do.
I can provide for my family.
I do want a yacht.
I do want a yacht.
Sure.
But also, I want to just be able to go wherever the fuck I want, whenever I want, and not be tied to a job.
Yes.
I tell you what I would do. I wish I could put had a dial on me that could just change my chronological clock. So I would stay right where I am. Everything stays the same, but I'm 10 years younger. So I'm 24 years old. I have my son, I have my wife. I'm in this position. I just wish I was 10 years younger.
And you
That's a good wish, man.
Sorry?
You stay there?
I like my life. I'm very happy.
Does your family stay there too, or they get older? You can't keep.
No. They stay no. I'm saying like right now, I would tell you everything is the same, and I just dial back. So I'm 24 years old, and I'm sat right here and there, and everything else.
Well, how old Dunny is this?
But
I might bring up. I've always dated older women, so it doesn't really matter. If she wants to come back with me, but
yeah,
I'd want like Phoenix or something. Like everything stays the same, and I just have an extra 10 years to.
No, I want to
24 again.
This has to be more specific. So you're 24.
Very specific.
No,
I was pretty specific.
You're 24, and time is staying the same. But Denise and Phoenix can't stay the same, so they're going to get older.
No. Phoenix is too.
No, he's going to age from 24.
I dial back, so I sit here and I just wave a wand and I turn to 24 years old. But I know my brain stays the same, just my body goes back to 24 years old, and everything else stays the same.
Okay.
I think that's pretty fucking accurate.
Yeah, that's pretty specific. I don't know. Is that better? That's actually pretty good. But then if I go back, I still have to. Then I still need financial freedom. But
I have relative financial freedom compared to when I was 24. So I'm like, okay, well,
I
like where I'm at. I want
ultimate financial.
Ultimate.
Yeah. Money to me is not my driving. Money's not my driving force.
It's not money. It's freedom. So it's freedom. It's not money. Freedom.
I have the freedom that I want right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't.
I hate that.
Okay, so Ben, you were showing us some houses on Zillow that were pretty fucking incredible.
Why did you laugh, James?
Because I just knew you were gonna. I don't.
Yeah.
Not yet.
I want to get on my own fucking private jet and fly to fucking Tokyo tomorrow if I want. That's what I want.
See, I want
if you do that tomorrow, I'm fucking coming.
I want to.
It's easy to say you don't want that, but like let's just imagine you do that.
Do you see the real reaction? Do you see the real reaction? James is like, I'm coming. That's
the
real
reaction. Listen, you do that tomorrow, I'm coming.
So that's what financial freedom means to me. I woke up tomorrow, I had a coffee, I'm like, you know what? I think Tokyo sounds good today. And I go get on a plane, whether it's mine or somebody else's, whatever, and just fly to Tokyo and hang out for a week and then fly back when I'm done.
I want to learn how to sword fight. And I'm going to hire the most proficient swordsman in Japan.
Exactly. Right.
I'm going to take classes with them. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, there's a channel on YouTube. It's a guy called Abroad in Japan. He's got loads of followers. Watch it, and it will just make you want to go to Japan. He's got such good videos. It's worth watching.
Do you know one of the problems that I have with being dropped into that, like you can have unlimited money tomorrow, is I like progress and I like achieving things. So everything I'm getting I'm there's more to it. Like say I had.
Did you not hear what I just said? I said we are learning how to sword fight,
man.
From the most proficient. And we're gonna have a Horitanzo sword, and we're gonna
be samurai
fighters.
Yeah,
but to me, being able to just jump on a jet
progression.
And fly around and have that that's just gifted to me, I'd get pretty bored of it real quick.
Fuck
no, you wouldn't.
I'm gonna fly to Italy and have the fucking best pizza maker in the world teach me how to make pizza.
Yeah,
that's progression. I'm gonna progress in my pizza making.
That's what I mean.
I am with Ben. I am with Ben on this.
You would lose clarity because you constantly be trying to find something else to keep you entertained.
No, I would just do fun shit that I liked.
Yeah, well, and then you'd be like, okay, I have to find something else now.
Ben, financial freedom also means just chilling out with my wife and my dog and going to the beach. I could do whatever the fuck I wanted. Why would you not want that?
Because to me, I've seen money do.
It's not money. You're so consumed with the dollar that you forget it's the freedom that's the good part. Let's say there was no money. Let's say nobody gives me $1. There's no money in my account. Somebody just says to me, you know what? Tomorrow your bills are all paid and you can go and do whatever you want.
But you know your problem is because you have that way of thinking, you can't understand how someone else doesn't.
What's the rollerblade for, James?
I'm just saying because we're going to go skating because of the financial freedom.
That's right. We're going to hire the most proficient skater in the world.
But the thing is,
I've got enough skates for all of us.
But hey, the things that I want to do don't require that much financial freedom. So there's the difference.
I can understand the philosophical outlook you have on this.
I can't.
But given the choice, I don't think any of us would turn down ultimate financial freedom. No way.
I'm not turning it. Wait. I'm not turning it down. I'm just saying it's not a priority for me to be like. If you say I could do it.
Yeah, but if it's on the table, you're like.
I would rather have more time than more money.
Okay.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Way more. I would rather have time than money.
I would rather have the exact amount of time I have and more money because you know what?
No, I'd
if you give me 10 more years, if you give me 10 more years, great. I got 10 more years. But if I have unlimited freedom, that means even if I only have 15 years to live, I can do fucking everything in that 15 years. Everything. I could live 10 fucking lives in that 15 years because I can do whatever the fuck I want.
To me, time is my most valuable and finite resource.
Freedom.
And also because I have a son, like, and not to play that card, but
no, that's important. No, that's an important.
I want more time with him. I don't want more money with him. He don't give a fuck about money. He cares about my time.
That's totally fair. That's a totally fair card to play. I don't have kids, so I'm like, you know what? I just want to be selfish and do whatever the fuck I want. If I had kids, I would be like, I'd probably think something.
And that's what I mean. I think it's a different perspective because it's a different angle, you know.
Justin, what's your ultimate wish?
I mean, right now, I would wish, and this is a big grim.
To be a good pro.
To be a good pro. No, I would wish. I don't know.
Come on.
I'm here, Jay. Like,
I'm listening. We're just fucking around.
I would wish for my mother's health.
Oh, I understand.
That's what I do. That's a
so that's what I mean. In those kind of instances, fuck financial freedom. Right?
Yeah, of course.
But if he had financial freedom, he could probably take her to the best fucking doctor in the world and have.
You can't buy time back when someone's
true
after a certain point.
I've been there, boys. You've been there, Fouad. You know. You know.
And that's why I mean time is way more valuable than money will ever be to me. Way more.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't.
It's entitled to it.
I just want to fly to Tokyo. God damn it.
We need to go to.
I know you mean if I had more financial freedom, there's a possibility that you could.
Justin. In all fairness, not to call you out on this, but you're pretty financially free to the point where you can. If needs must, you can.
Right now, but money is not the limiting factor.
That's my point. So when money isn't a limiting factor and you can afford to go to the best doctor and this and that, but the condition is to the point where it's like, hey, we can't do shit no matter how much money you have.
Right.
Time becomes way more.
100%. Nothing else would matter. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, the position you're in, I can understand why you say that. My position's a little different.
Right.
So James, where are you?
No, I'm here. I'm just intrigued because obviously
No, I
it's
mean,
a very
where are you
close
on the decision? You want more time, or you want more something else? You want more? You want what? What's your ultimate wish? It doesn't have to be time or money. It could be
time, because I believe in my ability to make a life for myself. So I believe that even without that assistance, I can make it a good life.
Yeah,
so therefore, time is fine because I have the tools. Huh?
You guys can all kiss my ass.
No, because I do honestly have that much faith in my ability to create.
Listen, so do I. Okay, wait a minute. So
suck my dick, Fouad.
Yeah, suck my cock. No, but so obviously we all have ability to create, because we all have, right?
You have a very good ability. Look what you're doing.
So, yeah. So I mean, I have a business, I have a podcast, all these things. That's awesome, right? Life is not fucking easy. Like,
no,
just because you have things and you have money and you have some freedom and you have, it's a fucking challenge every day, man. Like like Justin, you have your own business. Ben, you have clients. James, you're competing. I mean, none of us live an easy life. It's a constant. We don't have a job. Listen, for 1 second, just for 1 second. We don't have a job where we go punch a clock and don't have to think, and we just take home it's hard.
Weekends off, and
we don't have that. We have every fucking day. I have to wake up and go, how do I make my business better? How do I make my podcast better? And it's every day is a fucking struggle. And it has been like that for me since I was 20, because if I wasn't struggling at this, I was struggling at bodybuilding. So in that sense, maybe you'll understand why my answer is the way it is. Sometimes I just want to go, you know what? I'm fucking done struggling. I just want to go live.
Yeah.
See, but I also think, and
that's why we cling on to the idea. Sorry, Ben.
Go ahead, one or the other. You guys are both English. You're too nice.
I was saying, this is what we've had this discussion. We've had this discussion before where I said we all thrive in that struggle. And when you remove that struggle, we all get lost to go, oh, fuck, now what? And we find something else to struggle in and start over and progress in.
I feel a bit of angst in my day if I don't have something on. If I'm not doing something.
For a few days, it's lovely. I've got nothing to do this day. You spend 6 months like that and you'd be like, I don't want to spend another day on a jet flying around. I want to fucking achieve. I want to do something with this.
Yes.
Yeah. You know?
I get both, because I get also with how you would feel for it, because, for example, I know I'm holding these skates still, but I cling on to the idea of a time after where I'm free to be free.
Well, listen, I mean,
so it's not what these are, it's what they represent. They represent, I put on my feet and I just go somewhere without a care in the world.
That's why I said it's not about the dollars and cents. If you never gave me a penny, but you said, don't worry, you're never going to have less than you have, but you also have the freedom to do other things.
Yeah.
It's not that I want a bigger house or more cars, whatever. Tell me I had the exact same material things I have right now, and they'll never be taken away. But I also have the freedom to go and do whatever I want. To me, like, there's a lot of fucking pressure that comes with we're paying salaries, we're paying for fucking people's lives. Like, there's a lot of fucking pressure that would be alleviated if somebody just said, all that's taken care of, you go do whatever you want. Like, my dream is for one day for HOSSTILE to be $100 million company, so I don't have to fucking worry or have pressure about paying salaries or paying whatever, or keeping
a good manager.
And then I can just go and live life. Like, I don't, I mean, having more time is obviously huge, but I don't know, to me, with what I've lived through, I mean, every perspective is going to be different. What I've lived through in the last 25 years, I'm like, freedom is nice. Freedom and and yes,
there's no wrong or right answer in this.
You do have relative freedom by comparison to the majority of the world,
yes and no.
Yeah.
Yes and no. Yes, in a sense.
Well, isn't it something like ridiculous?
More to lose.
Isn't it like 1% of the population in the whole world earns over $30,000?
No, Ben. I'm saying, but that's why I said yes and no. Right? So in terms of financial freedom, you're correct. I can jump on a plane tomorrow and come visit you. Right? Yeah. I can do that.
What is it?
But also in terms of like Ben would say, or like James would say about shackles and bodybuilding, as far as mental shackles, I don't have that much freedom because I have to make sure the podcast has to keep going, the business has to keep going.
I think it is more about a mental shackle, like you said. Even when I'm away from my business,
you're not away from your business.
But hey, so here's the
one sec. Say it again, Justin. You cut out for a second.
No, I was just saying, like, even when I'm away, when we take these trips, I'm able to go to Texas for a week and hang out at Ben's. I'm still very mentally shackled and tied into the business. So I am laying in bed thinking about these things. I mean, I'm constantly communicating with people. I don't get to.
You don't get to disappear. You don't get to just disappear.
So my points, I think my point stands more. I think you've backed up my point more that it's time that's more valuable because you have the finances to do it because you don't have the time to get away from the businesses.
No, but it's not about time. I can't get away from the businesses. I have to keep them growing. So I'm never able
but it's a time constraint because you haven't got enough time to spare and neglect the businesses. It's not a financial issue. It's a time
but you're
issue.
not saying I have unlimited time in a day. You're saying I'll go back 10 years. So it doesn't alleviate my pressures.
No. That was my instance. But when you were talking about what you want to do, and you say, oh, it's not about dollars. I'm like, okay, well, so what is it about? And I think it's more about having the time to be able to balance the projects you have and take the time away from the projects.
Okay, listen, whether it's time or money, my ultimate wish in life is to be able to turn off my fucking brain for as long as I want, whether it be a week, 2 weeks, whatever it is. I can't do that. Like if me and Summer went on vacation, look at me and Summer haven't been on a vacation since 2014.
Yeah.
If I went on vacation tomorrow for a week, we would have our laptops and we would be working in that.
But that's what my point is. The thing that's stopping you is not financial resources. It's a time management. If you can't take the time away.
But Ben, I could say the same thing and say it is financial resources because I had unlimited money. I would know not to worry about my business because I'd be able to pay everybody and pay for all these things.
You'd still worry about your business.
Not if there was no financial fear involved.
I think what we have to understand from this conversation is a lot of this is more intertwined and interwoven than we are at first understanding. A lot of it, there is a connection between the two, a heavy connection. And I'm not saying it's a clear answer because it's not, because you're both coming from a very sensible approach, but it's just obviously a little bit conflicting at the minute. But there is certainly a relationship between the time and the financial.
Yes.
I guess what I'm saying right now is, look, if somebody came to me and said, your life is going to be over at 70, but you're going to have ultimate financial freedom from now until then, or your life is going to end at 90 and you still have the same exact amount of freedoms and pressures that you have right now, I would take option A. But I don't have kids.
Because what you've done.
But I don't have kids.
But you also
you've given yourself an option of 2 only. So the 2.
Well, but I'm just saying in the context of me and Ben's.
But wait, on option B, in your current life to 90, you still have the potential to grow that business to $100 million and to still do all the things you want to do.
True.
Right?
True. So it's almost like taking a guarantee.
And that's what,
it's not a guarantee.
And that's what James said. James backs himself to be able to get there with a bit more time on his side. That's what I'm saying.
Well, listen, I back myself and I know we'll get there, but having the guarantee that we'll get there is very important.
Yeah.
Because nobody can guarantee their business. Like
we're all also very fulfilled by the pursuit of generating wealth. I do enjoy building my businesses, and I wake up every day excited to continue that pursuit. Yes, it gets overwhelming, and a lot of times you want to shut it off. But ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, I enjoy entrepreneurship. I enjoy building my brand, whether that's bodybuilding or business. I enjoy the pursuit and the chase of it. So I do feel very fulfilled in that endeavor. So it is tough to say that you'd want to turn all that off because it is very fulfilling. If anybody's ever done it, they understand.
Yeah, but you're not necessarily turning it off. It doesn't mean you don't have to be involved. If you have complete financial freedom, it doesn't mean you lose your business. It just means it just means you have more opportunity to grow it in different ways. You know,
both of us coming from a place where we did start from nothing and you built it, that means a whole hell of a lot more than like right now, if you had full financial freedom and I were able to just invest an infinite amount of money into my business.
Right. So say someone, that's a good example. Say somebody handed you Redcon 1 right now, ownership, direct.
Yeah.
Are you gonna really fulfill? You'll be like, oh, this is awesome.
No, but I have a better example for you, and Justin touched on this. If an investor came along tomorrow and said, listen, I got $1 billion. You can spend whatever you need to spend to make Hostile whatever you want it to be. I'd be like, let's fucking do it. Deal. Because that's the financial freedom that would alleviate the pressure of trying to build on a budget. Do you understand? So all of a sudden,
my business is where
Sorry, Justin, wait a second, Justin. Go ahead. Say that again.
No, I was saying I am at a place with my businesses rather, that I've built it to a point that I would feel justified in taking that investment.
Yes. Because of what you've done to this point.
Yeah, exactly. Because you already know that you can. That you already know that you're capable of doing it.
I built my brands. Yeah.
I've got another scenario, and I think James will relate to this. I hope he does anyway. But when I used to play a lot of video games, and I would and you die because your character's not strong enough and big enough, and you build him up, and then someone will be like, "Oh, yeah, but you can use a cheat code and make him invincible." And I'd be like, "Oh, awesome!" And I would do it. I would do it, and then the game was super easy, and I'd be like,
"Love the analogy."
That's not the same thing.
Now this is James. Do you understand what I mean?
I think
I totally know the feeling, bro.
I totally know it. But if somebody were to give you $1 billion to build your business, it doesn't mean it's easy. You still have to be very strategic. And can't be flippant about these investments.
Yes.
And that's a reflection of your hard work up to that point.
Yes.
That's a reflection of your so you'll feel justified, like you say, because up to that point you've worked your arse off to get into a position where
all right. So, okay, but still, even to the point, say you don't use a cheat code and you build up your character. I played Skyrim, right, just to be geeky about it. I played Skyrim and I built a character all the way
Skyrim.
Up. And then once the character was unbeatable and I was like smashing everyone, I got bored of it and turned it off.
It's not the same.
I like the struggle. I like the
You're still going to struggle. You're still going to struggle.
Yeah.
But having an investor like that came along and gave you infinite amount of money doesn't mean you're not going to struggle to grow the business. It just means you're not in fear of losing it.
Bear in mind,
the business. In a real funds, how would you not grow the business?
In a real world scenario,
there's a lot of people with money that aren't not doing very well in the supplement industry because they don't know what they're doing. I'm pretty sure it's probably the same.
I don't know, but you do know what you're doing. So I'm saying, like, why the fuck is that? Like,
because
it's still placing a lot of pressure on yourself to perform and to allocate that money appropriately within your business. So it's still a game.
If you had unlimited resources, money, financial money.
Ben, there's a lot of we know people that have supplement companies that aren't doing well that have lots of money.
Sure.
Just because you have lots of money doesn't mean your business is going to be successful.
That's very true.
That's their dumbass fault. I'm not saying,
but that's what I'm saying.
It guarantees you, but I'm saying
they don't know how to play Skyrim.
If you invested $10 million on a bad strategy, so what? It doesn't break the business stays alive.
Well, you're right. There's less fear involved, and there's less like you're not playing chess anymore. You can kind of like make some mistakes. So I agree with you there, but that's part of it is, I made a mistake. I'm not going to lose my house. Like that part of that freedom, part of that lack, part of relieving that pressure, right, is having that backing, having that financial freedom.
I think we've answered this question.
Yeah.
Next, moving on. Let's move on.
I really do think we will.
That's true. I think we have. Yeah, fair enough.
The ultimate.
Are we going to rate a physique? Let's rate a physique.
Okay, wait, but just the ultimate answer.
No, don't rate a physique.
There is no fucking answer, right? Because there is no right answer. Because for everybody, it's going to be different.
It's personal. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, James.
It's situational for sure.
James, why didn't you say this? You're usually the
philosophical.
The philosophical.
I did say that it's perspective. I said it's all perspective.
I don't think so because you kind of waffled on it. And you went back and forth a little bit.
I never waffled.
Just held the rollerblade and we're like.
Exactly. I said everything I had to say with the skate in hand. That was fucking hit. That's like Prophet Messiah talking.
Yeah.
That's the stone tablet from fucking back in the days of who's the one that held the fucking stone tablets with the 10 commandments? What was his name?
Moses,
that's the one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Should we leave it there or should we find something?
Whatever we do, let's do it because I'm gonna go for a walk in a minute. In the fresh air.
Are you doing?
I'm not skating. Walking.
Are you doing 10-minute walks?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go around the block.
Let's leave it there. That's good enough. James, we're gonna let you go for a walk because you're in prep and we've been on long enough.
Yeah.
Ben, you're wrong as always.
He's a fucking joke.
I'm just joking. Justin, get to filming that racist thing we're gonna do.
Racist thing. Okay. All right. Deal.
All right, boys. Good talking to you.
Hey,
Good to see you all.
Ben, are we you good to exchange a phone call real quick if I call you after this?
Give me 2 minutes. I got pissed, but yeah.
Okay, because I kind of wanted to talk to you about a few things about Jasmine's prep.
Right.
Well, are you gonna? There's a bill for that. It's not free.
I want free weed.
Then I'll call you. Don't worry about it.
Alarm going off here. Fuck's sake.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Okay. All right. See you guys.
All right, boys. Take care.
All right.
In a bit.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, share with your friends, and like the video. And if you get a chance, check out the description for all the different links to all the different places you can find Hostile and myself. And lastly, check out hostile.com for our new line of supplements and all of our apparel and gear. Thanks again for watching.